The entire alien war chamber fell to its knees. Not slowly. Not out of respect. Instantly. Like something invisible had forced them down. And all of them, every single towering armored figure, began chanting one word. Groom. Daniel Cross froze. Because he knew one thing with absolute certainty. He had not just gotten hired for a repair job. He had just triggered something he didn't understand. And now it was too late to undo it. Daniel had survived for years by following one rule. Fix the problem. Ask nothing. Leave fast. It kept him alive in places where curiosity got people killed. But the moment he accepted this contract, 10 times his normal rate, he had already broken that rule. Desperate clients meant dangerous secrets. And this one? It didn't even try to hide it. The ship that came for him was the size of a city. No signal. No ID. Just silence. 1 second his workshop lights flickered. Next second, that thing was outside his window. Watching. Waiting. Engineer Daniel Cross, the message said. Prepare for immediate transfer. No greeting. No explanation. Just an order. Now he stood inside it. And everything felt wrong. Not broken. Not unstable. Just different. The walls weren't solid metal. They shifted slightly under pressure. Like they were alive. The light didn't come from lamps. It existed inside the structure. Soft. Controlled. Watching. Follow. The voice behind him was deep and metallic. Daniel turned. 7 feet tall. Silver armor that looked fused to the body beneath it. No visible face. No visible weakness. Right. Daniel muttered. No introductions. Good start. He didn't ask questions. He knew better. Every step deeper into the ship made one thing clear. This wasn't built. It was grown. The corridors adjusted as they walked. Widening. Narrowing. Like the ship itself was aware of them. They stopped at a massive door. This is your task, the alien said. The door opened. And Daniel forgot how to breathe. The chamber was enormous. Not industrial. Not mechanical. It felt sacred. Everything was perfectly arranged. Precise. Intentional. And, at the center, she stood. Daniel didn't know her name yet. But he knew she was the most dangerous being in the room. Maybe in the entire ship. Because everything, the guards, the structure, even the air, felt like it revolved around her. Her armor was black. Deep black. With veins of gold running through it like living energy. And it was damaged. Cracked at the shoulder. Flickering at the core. Exposed layers beneath. Complex, shifting, impossible. Engineer Cross, she said. Her voice wasn't loud. But it didn't need to be. Daniel stepped forward carefully. Yeah, he replied. That's me. You have been summoned. I figured, he said. You've got a repair problem. She turned slightly, giving him a clear view. Fix it. Not a request. Daniel crouched near the damaged section. The moment he got close, he felt it. This wasn't just armor. It was a system. Integrated. Connected. Alive in a way machines shouldn't be. You mind if I touch it? He asked. You may. Good, Daniel muttered. Because guessing usually ends badly. He reached out. The surface reacted instantly. Not violently, but aware. Like it recognized something. Or someone. Daniel paused. That's new, he whispered. You understand it? She asked. Not yet, he said. But I will. He always did. He started working. Careful. Precise. Mapping the damage. Energy flow patterns that made no sense. Structures that shifted in real time. This wasn't random, Daniel said. You were hit with something designed to break the system. Yes. That's not normal tech. It is not. Daniel exhaled. All right, he said. I can fix it. She didn't react. You will. Time disappeared. Minutes. Hours. Didn't matter. When Daniel worked, nothing else existed. He rerouted energy pathways. Stabilized the fluctuations. Rebuilt connections that shouldn't even function. You are precise, she said at one point. Comes with not wanting to die, Daniel replied. The final step stopped him. This part's risky, he said. Explain. I have to connect directly to your system, he said. And if it goes wrong? It will not, she said. Daniel almost laughed. Yeah, he muttered. That's what they all say. He took a breath, then initiated the connection. Everything changed. For a split second, Daniel wasn't outside the system anymore. He was inside it, feeling it, understanding it, and her. Not thoughts, not memories, but presence. Strong, unbreakable, ancient. Then, it snapped back. The system stabilized. The armor repaired. The golden lines glowed steady. Perfect. Daniel stepped back, breathing hard. Okay, he said. That should do it. Silence. Then, the entire room erupted. Groom. 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 Daniel blinked. What? No one answered. They just kept chanting. Louder. Stronger. He turned to her. Is this normal? She stepped forward. The room went silent instantly. Every voice cut off. Every movement stopped. She stood directly in front of him. Close. Too close. You have completed the bond, she said. Daniel stared at her. I fixed your armor. You did more. No, he said. I definitely didn't. She raised her hand, touched the repaired section. The gold lines pulsed. In our culture, she said, only one who is chosen may connect in this way. Daniel felt something drop in his stomach. Chosen, he repeated. Yes. He looked around, at the kneeling soldiers, at the silent chamber, at her. This is a misunderstanding, he said. It is not. I'm pretty sure it is. You completed the ritual. I completed a repair. She stepped closer, even closer. You are my groom. Silence. Absolute. Daniel blinked slowly, then shook his head. No. The connection between them pulsed faintly. Real. Unavoidable. And for the first time, Daniel Cross wasn't thinking like an engineer. He was thinking like a human. And his instincts were screaming one thing. Run. Daniel didn't run. Every instinct told him to. Every survival reflex he had built over years of dangerous contracts screamed at him to turn, to move, to get as far away from this situation as possible. But he didn't, because something deeper stopped him. Not fear, not logic, something else. The connection. It was still there. Faint, steady, real, like a quiet signal humming under his skin. You're serious, Daniel said slowly. Queen Eighth didn't respond immediately. She didn't need to. Everything about her presence was an answer. I do not speak lightly, she said. Daniel let out a breath and turned away from her, pacing a few steps across the massive chamber. Okay, he muttered. Let's break this down. No one moved. No one interrupted. The entire room watched him like his next words mattered more than anything. That alone made his situation worse. I fixed your system, Daniel said, pointing at her armor. Yes. I connected to it because that's how it works. Yes. And now somehow that makes me, he gestured vaguely, royalty? You are bonded, she corrected. That's not better. A faint shift rippled through the watching soldiers. Not laughter, but something close. Respect mixed with disbelief. Daniel noticed, and that's when it hit him. They weren't reacting to her. They were reacting to him. Wait, Daniel said, narrowing his eyes slightly. No one else can do what I just did, can they? Silence. Then one of the armored figures stepped forward slightly. None have succeeded, it said. Daniel looked back at Eighth. You've had others try? Yes. And they failed. How badly? A pause. Then, they did not survive. Daniel blinked. That's important information you could have shared earlier. Eighth studied him carefully now. You were not afraid. Daniel let out a short breath. I didn't know I was supposed to be. That answer lingered in the air. And for the first time, the room shifted. Not physically, emotionally, because to them, that wasn't normal. Daniel ran a hand over his face. All right, he said. Let's say I accept this insane situation for a second. Eighth waited. What exactly is this bond? He asked. She stepped closer again. Not threatening, but deliberate. Connection, she said. Through the system. Through energy. Through compatibility. That's still vague, Daniel replied. She reached out again. slower this time, giving him time to pull away. He didn't. The moment her fingers touched his hand, the connection surged, stronger than before. Daniel sucked in a sharp breath, because this time, it wasn't just feeling, it was understanding. He could sense her stability, her control, the way her entire system operated like a perfectly balanced network. And then, he felt the damage that had been there before. Echoes of it, like a memory inside the system. "You stabilized me," she said quietly. Daniel didn't respond, because he was too focused on something else. Her strength wasn't just physical, it was disciplined, held together by sheer will. And somehow, his presence had reinforced it. He pulled his hand back. "That's not normal," he said. "No," she agreed. Daniel paced again. Faster now. Thinking. Processing. "This doesn't make sense," he muttered. "I've worked on alien tech before. Complex stuff. Dangerous stuff." He looked at her. "But nothing has ever responded like that." "That is because you are human," Eighth said. Daniel stopped. "That's your explanation?" "It is the correct one." He frowned. "That's not an explanation. That's a category." Another slight shift moved through the room. Again, that almost reaction. They weren't used to this. To someone questioning her so directly. But Eighth didn't react with anger. If anything, she seemed more focused. "Humans are not part of known compatibility structures," she said. Daniel raised an eyebrow. "Sounds like a polite way of saying you don't understand us." A pause. Then, "Yes." That answer hit harder than he expected. Daniel exhaled slowly. "Great," he muttered. "So, I'm the unknown variable in a system that kills people." He looked at his hands, at the faint glow that hadn't been there before. "And now I'm linked to you." "Yes." "Across distance?" "Yes." "Without my permission?" A pause. Then, "You completed the connection willingly." Daniel laughed once. Short. Dry. "I was fixing your armor." "You succeeded." That shut him up. Because she wasn't wrong. The room stayed silent. Watching. Waiting. Then Daniel asked the question that had been building in his mind. "If I reject this bond..." Eighth's expression didn't change. But something in the air did. "It will destabilize," she said. "I heard that part," Daniel replied. "What I didn't hear is what happens after." This time, the hesitation was real. And everyone in the room felt it. "The system will collapse," she said finally. Daniel's stomach tightened. Define collapse. Her golden-lined armor pulsed once. "My systems are integrated," she said. "The bond has already begun adapting." Daniel's mind raced. "No," he said under his breath. "No, no, no, that's not how systems work." But deep down, he knew it was. Because he had felt it. "You're saying," Daniel said slowly, "that if I walk away..." Eighth held his gaze. "We both break." Silence. Heavy. Final. Daniel looked around again. At the soldiers. At the ship. At everything that suddenly felt a lot bigger than him. One job. That's all it was supposed to be. But now, he wasn't just involved. He was essential. And that realization? It changed everything. Because for the first time, the balance of power in that room shifted. Not to him. Not completely. But enough. Enough that every alien there was no longer just watching a human engineer. They were watching a variable they couldn't control. And that made them uneasy. Daniel noticed. And slowly, he straightened. "Okay," he said quietly. Eighth waited. "I need time," he continued, "to understand this. To figure out what this bond actually means." "That is acceptable," she said. "And in the meantime," Daniel added, glancing at the others, "no more chanting." A brief pause. Then, "That can be arranged." Daniel let out a small breath. Good. But even as he said it, he could still feel it. The connection. Stronger now. Deeper. Changing. And somewhere inside that link, something had already started reacting to him. Adapting. Evolving. Daniel didn't know what it was yet. But one thing was becoming very clear. This wasn't just their system anymore. And whatever came next was going to prove exactly why humans were a problem no species had ever solved. The first sign something was wrong wasn't pain. It was silence. Daniel woke to it. A deep, unnatural silence that didn't belong inside a living warship. No movement. No distant hum of systems. No guarded footsteps. Nothing. He sat up slowly. The room around him was dim. Too dim. And the faint glow under his skin was brighter. "That's not good," he muttered. Then it hit him. A sudden pulse through his chest. Sharp. Violent. Not physical. Systemic. Daniel grabbed the edge of the platform beside him as another surge ripped through him. And this time, he felt her. Not faint. Not distant.
Pain.
He stood instantly. "Queen Eighth," he said under his breath. No response. But the connection was screaming. Daniel moved.
Fast.
Out into the corridor. The ship had changed. The walls were unstable now. Shifting too quickly. Flickering with broken patterns of light. "Yeah," Daniel said, forcing himself forward. "That's definitely system failure." Another pulse hit him. Stronger. And with it, he understood. The bond wasn't just active anymore. It was integrating. And something had gone wrong. "Of course it did," he muttered. He broke into a run. The deeper he went, the worse it got. Systems flickering. Energy surges crawling through the walls like lightning. Alien soldiers. On edge. One of them stepped into his path. "You should not be here." Daniel didn't slow down. "Move." The figure hesitated. Just for a second. Because now, everything had changed. Before, he was just a human.
Now,
he was part of the system keeping their queen alive. The soldier stepped aside. Daniel kept moving. Another surge hit. This time, it dropped him to one knee. And for a split second, he wasn't in the corridor anymore. He was there. Inside the system. Inside her.
He saw it.
The damage. Not the repair he had fixed, but something deeper. Hidden.
Old.
A failsafe. No. A restriction. Something built into her system that was now reacting to him. Rejecting the bond. "Wait," Daniel whispered. It wasn't failing. It was fighting. He forced himself back up. "Idiot," he muttered. "You didn't fix the problem, you triggered it." He ran harder. The chamber doors were already open when he arrived. Inside. Chaos. Energy flared violently across the room. Guards struggling to hold formation. And, at the center,
Queen Eighth.
Her armor was no longer stable. Golden lines flashing erratically. Black plating splitting and reforming in uneven patterns. She was still standing.
But barely.
Daniel stepped forward. Everyone out. No one moved. He turned sharply. "I set out." This time, they listened. Because even they could feel it now. The bond. The connection. And the fact that the human was part of the solution. The room cleared. Daniel moved closer.
Slowly. Carefully.
"You're fighting it," he said. Eighth's voice came strained. "It is rejecting you." Daniel shook his head. "No," he said. "It's not rejecting me." He stepped closer. "It doesn't understand me." Another surge exploded outward. But this time, Daniel didn't step back. He stepped forward. Directly into it. The energy hit him.
Hard.
But instead of resisting, he did something no other species had ever tried. He let it in. The world disappeared. And suddenly, he was inside everything. The system. The armor. The connection. And her. Not just presence this time. Emotion.
Pain.
Control. Breaking. And beneath all of it,
Fear.
Not of death, but of losing control. Daniel focused. "This is the problem," he said. The system wasn't designed for adaptability. It was designed for perfection. Rigid. Controlled. Unchanging.
And humans?
We're none of those things. "Then stop trying to control it," Daniel said. He pushed forward. Not with force, but with instinct. Human instinct.
Adapt. Bend. Survive.
Instead of forcing the system into order, he let it shift. Let it evolve. Let it rewrite itself around him. For a moment, everything went still. Then, the system responded. Not rejecting. Accepting. The energy stabilized. The violent pulses softened. The broken patterns smoothed into something new. Not perfect, but balanced. Daniel exhaled sharply as the connection settled. And this time, it didn't feel foreign. It felt
shared.
the chamber lights returned. The ship stabilized. And slowly, Queen Eighth straightened. Her armor reformed. Different now. The golden lines no longer pulsed in strict patterns. They flowed.
Alive.
She looked at him. Not with authority. Not with control. But with something else. Understanding. You changed it, she said quietly. Daniel shook his head. No, he replied. I let it change. Silence filled the chamber. Then the doors opened. The soldiers returned. And this time, they didn't chant. They just stared. Because what they were seeing should not have been possible. One of them stepped forward slowly. The system has evolved. Another spoke. It has never done that. Eighth's gaze never left Daniel. Humans, she said softly, do not follow structure. Daniel gave a tired half-smile.
Yeah, he said.
We're kind of a problem like that. The connection between them pulsed once.
Steady. Stable. Real.
Is the bond still there? Daniel asked. Eighth nodded. Yes. A pause. But now, she stepped closer. It is chosen. Daniel looked at her. At the ship. At everything that had just changed. One job. That's all it was supposed to be. Now, he had done something no species had ever done. Not by strength. Not by power. But by something they didn't understand. He adapted. And in doing so, he didn't just save her. He changed their entire system. A system that could now evolve.
Grow.
Become something new. All because one human engineer refused to follow the rules. Daniel exhaled slowly. So he said, what happens now? Eighth looked at him. And for the first time, there was something almost human in her expression. Now, she said, we build something that has never existed before. The bond pulsed again. Stronger. Not forced. Not accidental. Chosen. And somewhere deep within the living ship, the system adjusted. Not around a queen. Not around a species. But around a truth they had just learned the hard way. Humans don't just survive impossible systems. They rewrite them.